How rich people respond to financial loss. Hi, I'm Phil Pustiowski with FreedomMentor.com. I'm a full-time real estate investor, real estate mentor, and coach to many of the most successful real estate investors across North America. I happen to be rich at this point, although I started very poor. And so in this particular video, what I hope to share with you is a very interesting thing I discovered in working with my mentor, and why or how rich people respond to financial losses, to unexpected problems or issues that come up that cost them money, or just mistakes they make in the ordinary course of their business, or even things that they didn't think were a mistake. Maybe it's not something they did, but they ended up losing money either way. Well, in this video, I think you're going to learn something very special, and you may already do this, but for some of you, this could be a revelation that could really help you moving forward and how you handle problems, how you handle financial loss. All right, well, being that I was poor at one point, I've seen both sides of this, and so I think you're going to get a kick out of this one particular story I'm going to give you, which is extremely recent, as in like 2 days ago, and the way I responded, now that I am economically productive, I am rich now, but how I would have responded in the past when I was flat broke. Okay, so here's what happened. I have a property that I purchased that I have been my contractor's been in the process of renovating to resell. Now, the way the timing was, I put the utilities in my name at the very end of October. And then the first bill was not actually going to be created by the utility company until December 15th. So all of November, November 1st, so the very end of November, and then the actual bill would be created on December 15th and get mailed to me. And I send all of my bills and everything to a P.O. box. So I didn't check the P.O. box. It's been the holidays. It's sort of busy. And so I didn't check the mailbox until Monday. Well, here's what happened. I get a utility bill in the mail, and the water bill was over $2,000 for 1 month. $2,000 water bill. Okay? All right, so the water bill was broken up into two categories. You've got one, you have the actual consumption of the water, which was like $1,000, and so I'm going to call that consumption. And then the other side of the bill was $1,000 for the sewer. So I guess the way this particular utility department works, they treat the water. They have a water treatment plant, right? And so the water goes through their sewer system to the treatment plant, and they have to treat the water, and then it gets put back into the system. And so you have consumption, and then you have sewer. Well, here's the thing. Both of these, I mean, if you consume a lot of water, they hit you here too. That's how it becomes $2,000. So that's how this whole thing was $2,000. And this is for 1 month. All right, so this is for November. And I just learned about this, right? So I could have December. It could be the same problem. Also, we're looking at $4,000 on property. I mean, look, that could be a big part of the profit, right? Okay, so how did I handle it? You know, so how does a rich person respond to financial loss? This is a big bill, and it could be double, right? All right, well, here's the first thing I did. The first thing I did was called up my contractor, and I said, hey, do you know if we have any major plumbing leak? Maybe there's some busted pipe, something going on. And so he went through, and he said, no. He said, I've looked at the meter, Phil. The meter's not running. It's not ticking really fast, so I don't think there's any problems here. And I said, well, I just got a $2,000 water bill for November. Do you have any ideas? And he said, well, there might have been a slow leak in the toilet or something. I mean, maybe, he said, maybe the little outside where the hose is, there's something to the actual hose spigot. There's like a little, I guess, valve you call it, where they had like two things coming off of it. He said that might have been leaking a little bit. He said, I'd be shocked if it put up this much money, but I don't know, maybe. So then after I got off the phone with him, I called up the plumber I work with. I told him, hey, it's an emergency. I know it's Christmas Eve. Can you go look at this thing? Can you tell me what's going on? And so he went over there, and he said, Phil, you don't have any problems right now. He goes, if there ever was a problem, I guess your contractors fixed it, because there isn't. There's no leaking anywhere. Okay, so stop the story. All right, so how does a rich person respond to this? Well, first of all, what I did was I tried to figure out what the problem was, to stop it first, but I sought to understand what's going on. So I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just seeking to understand what's going on. But moreover, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn what the lesson is in all this, okay? And so the next thing was just calling the utility department. They were actually closed. But in talking with the plumber, he said, Phil, said they didn't make a mistake. The bill is not wrong. This isn't an issue with the bill. This is, you've had some, you may have had a plumbing leak in the toilet, because my contractor did replace the toilet. He said, but you don't have an issue whereby they wrote the number down wrong, because I looked at my bill and I said, hey, they're telling me the meter read is this amount. And the plumber said, yeah, that's what the meter is. So, okay. I bring all that up to give you all that detail and background to say that this is how a poor person would handle this particular situation. They would look at this and they would go, either A, the water company is screwing me, it's a scam, it's a fraud, they wrote it down wrong. And so what most poor people would do is they'd call up that utility department and lay into them. Scream and yell, throw a fit. Maybe they'd go to the office. They would demand to get that money back because this could never be right. They may even complain to the utility department that they should have some sort of checks and balances in place so that in the event that there ever was a situation where some single family home blew up $2,000 worth of water bill, that they would stop it beforehand. Maybe they'd call you because they have the technology to do that. What am I doing? I'm blaming. I'm blaming everyone but myself when I'm acting like that, right? So the way a rich person responds to financial loss is where they put the blame. And they blame themselves. Okay? First of all, they look at it and they say, where did I go wrong? Well, I tell you where I went wrong on this. We believe that it was either that hose spigot there on the outside, or it was one of the toilets, and it's my fault. When I bought that property and I did that walkthrough with the contractor and we went through everything, it's my fault that I didn't, shut the toilet things off. It's my fault that I didn't check all the hose spigots carefully to make sure there was no dripping going on. This is my fault. Furthermore, I use this water. I have to pay it. Okay, I'm not going to get around this. It's a financial loss, but I'm going to suck it up. And you know what? It's a learning lesson. Learning lesson. The way rich people respond to financial loss is they call them learning lessons. And the bigger the loss, the bigger the lesson. They blame themselves for having not have been able to figure that out, and they take full responsibility. And they say, you know what, I need to learn something from this. So what if you did a bad deal and it cost you $20,000? That's a learning lesson. Now, you can blame everybody else if you want to. That's fine, you can do that. That's how poor people do it. But if you want to be rich, or you want to think like a rich person, you blame yourself and you learn from that. Now, I'll give you another great tip. This is a very good tip. So few people do this. Get out either a piece of paper, I use Evernote on my phone, and keep a running list of expensive learning lessons. A list. And then periodically just review the list. Right? I'm never going to forget this again. And look, I've been doing this business a very long time. I have apprentices all across North America. I've never seen a situation, nor have any of our nobody has ever dealt with a situation running up a water bill this high in that short of a period of time and not knowing about it. But I did it, so it's obviously possible, right? So we learn something new every day. In this case, I took responsibility. I didn't go yell at my contractor. I didn't yell at the utility department. I discovered what the problem was, at least what we think to be the problem was. I sucked it up, paid the bill, and then the learning lesson here is be very, very careful. Even just a little drip in a toilet, not knowing exactly how the toilet's set up. I mean, you got to be very, very careful with that stuff. This thing can get away from you. Great learning lesson. And I have a list of expensive learning lessons. I got a lot of them, and that list is so valuable. That, in this case, it's an Evernote note. That note is so valuable. There's so many things I've learned over the years. And those expensive learning lessons that I learned the hard way by fitting the bill, You know, a part of me is like, this is part of my asset base, right? It's part of that list of assets along with my real estate, you know, and everything else that I've got as far as assets. So I want to encourage you, if you've ever been in a situation where you're blaming other people and maybe you're complaining that it's not a learning lesson, but it's that somebody else took advantage of you, I want you to switch that around. If you want to think like a rich person, you take the blame and then you learn something from that experience. And the more expensive the lesson is, the bigger the learning lesson is. And you know what? You can always create more money. That's the great thing about economics. I mean, this is not life or death here necessarily, because you can, if you lose money, you have a financial loss, you can recreate money by utilizing the lessons you've learned, right? All right, well, I hope this video gives you a practical tool on how to handle everyday problems, because I gotta tell you, when you handle it the way I'm describing here, you are handling like a rich person, and it's gonna help you grow. And that is gonna help you be more rich than you already are. All right, well, I'm Philip Ustiowski with FreedomMentor.com. If you got any stories, examples, or if you completely disagree with me, feel free to put some comments just below here in the comment box. I try to carve out time to answer those. If you want to learn more about us, go to FreedomMentor.com. I've got a great book called How to Be a Real Estate Investor. You may really enjoy that book. And I think in that book I talk about some success traits. One of those being, you know, taking responsibility or holding yourself accountable. But this would take it to the next level. Talk about how just every time you have a financial loss, consider it a learning lesson. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.